Hiya, my name's Savannah Marshall and you're watching Sport and Icons.
So when we look at the first two fights with Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder, we can look at them both and say, well, Tyson Fury, he outboxed Deontay Wilder in the first fight. And this was a 50% deflated Tyson Fury, a Tyson Fury who spent 2.5, maybe 3 years inside kebab shops en route to that point, where he went over to Los Angeles and outboxed Deontay Wilder. And the crowd was like a home crowd in favour of Tyson Fury. So that was not a good look. That was a cherry pick that went badly wrong. Even Shelley Finkel said we didn't expect Tyson Fury to be as good as what he was. That will tell you that they cherry picked Tyson Fury and it backfired. In the rematch, Tyson Fury systematically broke down Deontay Wilder, had him on the back foot and had Wilder looking scared. And that's what it was. He looked scared. He didn't know how to cope, and to the point where his team had to throw in the towel. So all of this was embarrassing for Deontay Wilder. Now, it's one thing to take your first loss. Maybe you're having your fight, you're doing okay in the fight, you're still in it, and then get clipped with a big shot. It's heavyweight boxing. Anybody can get their lights put out at any point. But that's not what happened. He got systematically beaten to a pulp. He got bounced up and down off that canvas like a yo-yo. That was embarrassing for Deontay Wilder. And what makes it worse is that he's going to have to go through hell psychologically between now and then. Ever since that fight happened, he's going through psychologically hell. I ain't no damn psychologist, but it's pretty obvious that when you take your first loss, and many fighters, it'll either make them stronger or it's the start of the end of the road. That's what happens. And with Deontay Wilder, with the fact that he made out that he was in the best condition that he's ever been in, he made excuses for the first fight. He broke his hand or his wrist or whatever it was, or his arm, leading up to the fight, so he couldn't throw it in sparring and what have you. So in the first fight, he couldn't throw it, even though he did, and he put Tyson Fury down twice. In the rematch, Fury said, I'm going to put it on you. And I don't think Wilder believed him. So when it happened, he didn't know what to do. He looked like a deer in the headlights. He looked frightened. He looked like he wanted out of there. But the words, I quit, are not going to come out of his mouth because he'll never, ever be able to live it down. But the fact is, the team did throw in the towel. So you're going to have to go through hell psychologically from the moment that he lost all the way up to fight night. He's going to have Tyson Fury permanently goading at him. If Tyson Fury wants to really turn the thumb screws on, he can psychologically beat down Deontay Wilder with the fact that a lot of Wilder's fans are throwing out excuses about the suit, about the water, about Mark Breland throwing in the towel because Durrell convinced him to do so. So there's a snake in the camp and all these other kind of excuses which were absolutely laughable. So it's made Deontay Wilder's defeat worse with these kind of excuses. So he's going to have to contend with all that in the lead up to the third fight. Let's not forget as well that there's a very good chance, when I had Bob Arum on the channel about a week ago, he was saying that there's a good chance that the fight could either happen in Macau, in China, or over in Australia. Wilder has never defended his belt or fought for a world title outside the US. He's never done it. And even when he had his head-to-head with Tyson Fury before their first fight in Northern Ireland, Belfast, he looked like a deer in the headlights. He looked nervous. So how's he going to be when he's going abroad where he's literally the away fighter? People outside the US don't really know Deontay Wilder that much. And what they do know of him, they see him as the guy who turned down over 100 million to fight Anthony Joshua, who consistently ducked fights throughout his career. So a lot of people don't like that. But there again, maybe he's going to have a huge fan base in Australia or China. You never know how it's going to go. But he's going to have to go through psychological hell. He's going to have to walk through the gates of hell to get to one point where he's mentally okay. And he may never be mentally okay. There's talk that maybe he's going to bring in a George Foreman, for example. George Foreman, he's got his Baptist side to him. Deontay Wilder, of course, grew up under the shadows, if you like, of Baptist. So maybe George Foreman will know how to communicate so Wilder understands. That could be a good thing. There's talk that maybe he could bring in a Floyd Mayweather or a Joe Goosen and whatever else. So whatever it is that he brings in, is he going to be able to implement that into the rematch, into the third fight? In a fight where most people don't believe Wilder, outside of a puncher's chance, has very little chance. He's got 0 to none chance. That's what a lot of people figure. But Wilder, he's always going to have that big punch. But if he's psychologically damaged, how can he set it up? Is he going to be frightened? Is he going to be nervous? Is he buying into some of the excuses that his fans are making out? Where he's looking at, well, if I'm more careful with the water that I drink, I'll be okay. If I don't wear that suit, I'll be okay. These kind of excuses, are these the ones that he's going to focus on to make sure these don't happen in the third fight? Only to realise that actually they weren't the reason. The reason why you lost is because Tyson Fury is not your usual B-level opposition. Tyson Fury is not A-level opposition. He's elite-level opposition. When Wilder's been spending his entire career fighting C and B-level opponents, you don't jump straight into an elite level. You need to gradually build it up. That's what you do. Wilder never done that, and he got found wanting. So he's going to have to go through absolute hell psychologically to be mentally prepared for this third fight. Try and put everything that happened out of his mind or use it as a positive. Not come out with excuses. He's going to have to go through hell, because for me, one of the reasons that I believe he lost that fight is not only because of the levels, of course that's probably the biggest part of it, is because he didn't train properly. In truth, I don't think he trained properly. I mean, regardless of how much that suit weighed, if you're going with the narrative of that suit weighed down on my legs and I couldn't recover and this, that and the other, even though you took the suit off and you had 5 minutes before the fight started, that should be ample enough time, especially when you're used to putting 40-odd pound backpacks on and doing your sprints. That shouldn't even be a factor. Regardless of the fact whether it was 40 pounds or whether it was what the manufacturer said, 26 pounds. Doesn't really matter. He should have been okay. It was his fault that he wore that suit. It was his fault he took a long time walking to the ring, because that guy who was on the mic, I have no idea what it was that he was saying, but it sounded awful and took forever to walk to the ring. That was his fault. If there was something with the water, that was his fault because he drank it. The preparation, I don't think that he'd done enough road work, to be honest with you. I don't think that he'd done enough training. I don't think he took Tyson Fury serious when Fury said, I'm going to put it on you. So he's going to have to go through hell in training camp from pretty much the word go, because he's not going to want to know, or he's not going to know what Tyson Fury is going to turn up. Is it going to be the pure boxer again? Or is it going to be the Kronk style, front foot forward, putting it on you? And yes, of course, in the clinches, Tyson Fury is going to use some of the moves that he learned while he was training with WWE. Get him in a headlock, a sneaky little lift, and before you know it, your legs are pretty much gone from under you, your neck's sore, this, that, and the other. So Wilder's going to have to go through hell in training, as well as have all this psychological confliction going on in his mind, especially if he's going to have to travel abroad. So he's going to have to go through absolute hell. Can he do that? Is he psychologically strong enough to do that? We've seen him mentally collapse in the press conferences with Tyson Fury. When Tyson Fury wants to put it on him, Wilder can't live with him. He can't live with him. And with all these excuses, what Wilder's fans have done is give Tyson Fury, the wrong person, ammunition. You've given him material. That's what you've given him. So, is Wilder mentally strong enough to go through all of this and perform on fight night? Doesn't matter what he learns in training, he can implement that for the first couple of rounds, and if it's not working, if he starts to get beat up again, he's going to revert to type and just rely on that big right hand. And when you're tired and your legs don't feel strong, you can't land that big punch because you need the power of your legs behind you to do it. So for me, is he strong enough? I don't know if he's strong enough. We know that he has been through turbulent times before, especially in the first Luis Ortiz fight when he's out on his feet. He showed a lot of heart, a lot of mustard. For some reason in the rematch with Tyson Fury, he didn't show that kind of heart. We can give him credit for the fact that he did keep getting back up again. You have to give people credit for that. But the fact is that his team did throw in the towel. That's not a good look going forward. That's not a good look. All these kind of things, the pressures of his fans making up all kinds of excuses, the fact that he bought into his own hype, that, let's be honest, he created himself without other people doing it for him, which you knew was fake. I don't need to learn how to box. I don't need the basics. When I land that big right hand, you're done. Yeah, that works on certain level opposition. And it may work the odd time here and there at the top end as well, but you're going to be found wanting. And I said this a long time ago, that Wilder is a loss waiting to happen. When he can't land that big right hand, when somebody pressures him, he's in trouble. And that's exactly what happened. Fury knows how to beat him. He knows how to beat him. But Fury can adapt his style now. He's pretty much back to what he was. Is he as good as what he was against Klitschko? I don't know, to be honest with you. Really, I don't know. But there's probably a bit more. There's probably a couple more gears that Tyson Fury can go up. Does Wilder have any more gears in his locker? If there are some things that he can learn, he's going to have to go through hell to do it. And on fight night, he's going to have to go through hell as well to implement it and stick to the game plan. And for all we know, and for all he knows, that game plan could be totally wrong. Anyway, you let me know, can Deontay Wilder walk through the Hell's Gate in order to get the victory? I think most people would doubt it, but we'll have to wait and see what happens in the third fight, won't we? Drop your thoughts below, click thumbs up, subscribe. Catch you all on the next video.